And that's for being a goddamn nuisance. Hello and welcome back to East Book 1 and 2, and we finally got the wand that was behind those rock monsters. This means we can finally get MP, which means we can finally start fighting bosses in this game. Well, in the East 2 part of this game. So here's the slate that I forgot to read last time. So there are 6 books written by the Ancient Priest of East. The forces contained within the books will direct a brave man, aka Adol, to this land. Lock door in the Sanctuary of Toll. Return all 6 books. Open the way to Solomon Shrine. Gotcha. So, we did some grinding off screen and got ourselves the long sword. So we're a bit less pathetic in combat now. Okay, so we now have MP. And pretty soon we're actually going to be able to use it because we have a pretty straight path to the fire magic now. And there are 5 other kinds of magic we're going to need to finish this game. So it's off we go back into the caverns to just settle everything. Now, one of the things I wanted to talk about while we were heading over to grab the fire magic is that East 1 and 2 were originally built to be one game, and somewhere a little before or at the halfway point, the player will have conquered Darm Tower, defeated Darkfact, and been launched all the way to the Land of East. And, you know, that actually feels like you've accomplished something. Which isn't always the case when you reach the halfway marks of other RPGs. Because you can very easily get to the halfway mark of an RPG these days and not feel like you've really gotten anywhere or gotten anything done specifically. Or even much further in RPGs and not feel like you've actually managed to get much done. I was like 75% or more through the way of Neverwinter Nights 2, and I still felt like that game was spinning its wheels. So it's not just JRPGs that do that kind of thing, though they certainly do. Because I think a lesson that modern RPGs could take from older games, even more fetch-questy games like Dragon Quest and Ultima, as when you do a thing in one of those older games, that thing is done. You did it. You did a thing, and nothing is going to take that away from you. Whereas RPGs are very, very strong about taking things away from you when you try to do them. So I think that's just a thing that RPGs going forward really need to work on. Because there's just a lot of things that can make a lot of the stuff you've done in an RPG over 10, 20, 30, 40 hours feel like it was a waste of time. We're just stopping by here to get some more healing, because things may get dangerous. Oh, who am I kidding? They're definitely going to get dangerous. However, we too are going to get dangerous before the end of this. Okay, we're just gonna beat up these guys. No, that's the wrong way. Okay, so now we can actually make use of the fire magic we find down here. And we are going to abuse it for the rest of this game. We don't need to fight that guy yet. Not until we get this. Okay, this is the fire magic, and it works kinda differently in this version in that it's kinda actually broken in this version of Ys 2. It does the same damage as your normal attacking at range, and it doesn't need to be charged. Though, you can only have one fireball on the screen at a time, so you need to sometimes be careful at how you place your shots. The difference in the earlier versions of Ys 2 is that fire magic has different properties as you level. Like in the PC-88 version of Ys 2, before you reach a certain level, the fire magic doesn't even go full screen. And then later on it gets other properties. Vicious, almost game-breaking properties. So here's Gunder, and he hasn't changed much. He still has this 6-way shot. However, the window to cause damage to him is somewhat smaller, so I try to time my shots to arrive just as he opens up to fire, so I have more room to dodge. As you can see, being able to do that makes the fight not too terribly difficult. Also, the other thing is that in this version of Ys 2, bosses do not give gold. So even though we've beaten the boss, there are still quite a few things we need to get down here. And the descent may have only gotten even more dangerous because this place is even more cramped than the earlier parts of the Rastin Caverns. Well, the Rastini Caverns. Gotta be precise about that. So there are a couple of hidden rooms here that carry what are really essential treasure chests. So there's the iron ore, which we're going to sell as soon as we get back into town. And up here is the salsetta flower. So the salsetta flower restores everything to full. And it's something I'm going to want to grab another one of before I move on into other parts of Ys 2, because it's just too useful to have something like that. Later versions of Ys 2 added more different kinds of healing items, like apples and herbs and that sort of thing. But for now, well, just gonna have to make do with what we got. Yeah, sometimes around here there are just going to be enemies on the other side of complete darkness. So it's not really shy about throwing nasty surprises. And there's the evil bell, which we're going to need for Jira's basement. Just take care of that guy for the experience, get hit by that guy. Yeah, we can just clear this place out now. We don't need anything special. Though these Demon Knights are fairly dangerous to us, even with all the levels we've gained. So we're going to use that Salsetta flower right now. It's not like it's the only one in the game. And there's the light magic, which we're going to need to open up something hidden. I believe if you use it down here, it'll show you the entrances to the hidden rooms, but I'm not 100% sure on that. I've just played this game so much that I don't even need that. So now we're just gonna make our way out of here. Gonna be as careful as we can, plus we're going to pick up a new Salsetta flower. At least it's not as bad as, like, Faxanadu was with that one quest. Basically, in Faxanadu, there was this point where you needed to deliver an elixir to another NPC to restore one of the springs. However, the elixir is an item that automatically revives you if you get killed, and Faxanadu is not an easy game. And your capabilities in that game are pretty limited to your equipment set. There's no, like, level gaining in that game. God, I wish I was good enough to do Faxanadu. Because it kinda has an unusual story for that kind of fantasy game. Because Faxanadu is the story of a fantasy world having a run-in with an almost Lovecraftian kind of extraterrestrial presence. So anyway, we finished everything we need to do in the Restini Caverns. So we're on our way to Lance Village. Gonna heal up a bit though. The thing about these early Ys games is that there's no telling what might happen within the next 10 steps. Because remember, this was a personal computer game, originally made in 1987. Well, Ys 1 was 1987, Ys 2 was 88. Okay, now that we've sold the iron ore to the armorer, the thing in this version is that the new armor becomes available immediately. You don't have to do any story stuff. But right now we're going to buy the Talwar. And we're going to see Dr. Flare about some medicine. You know, I hope that someday, Dr. Flare, you get a house. One of the interesting things about Ys 1 and 2 Complete and later Chronicles is that they went through the trouble of redoing all of the towns so that every resident actually has, well, a house. It's not like other JRPGs where there's not nearly enough housing for all of the NPCs that you might find wandering around. So, we've saved Lilia, gained 300 experience. We really should have scaled that to the experience totals in this game. But here's something even better. Okay, this is the warp magic. It acts as fast travel, though the only place we'll be able to go for a while is here.
I am sorry, but I overheard you talking to Bernice. I was about to die of a disease I knew nothing about, but you risked your life to get the medicine that I so desperately needed. I owe my life to you. How can I ever thank you?
Hey, it's no problem. It's what an adventurer does. By the way, I forgot to mention earlier that Lilia is voiced by Maya Martineau, who doesn't have a long voice list, but she did do something in every episode of The Centurions. So now we're going to handle Jira's basement. Time to ring the bell. Yeah, the PC-88 version didn't have this animation of the wall breaking down. A hole just appeared. And, oh, that's a lot of something. No. So these enemies are infinite, which is going to turn out to be such a mistake that it will be corrected in later versions of this game, and I will explain to you why it's a mistake later. For now, we're just going to force our way through to the other side of this room full of monsters. Burn down these blobs. And return the last of the Books of Ys. Adol, with his goldfish memory, stares in amazement as the book he was holding suddenly floats with his hands and dissolves into the statue. These are the words of Priest Fact, who is probably Toll Fact from Ys origin. Okay, reach Solomon's shrine, destroy the evil core. If Ys is ever controlled by the dark forces, all good will perish. Need a Clarius sword to solve this problem. Well, let's see about doing that. Okay, that's the Scroll of Guidance. which we use at the various goddess statues we can find around here. And we're going to take this heal. Save here, because it's safe to save here. And we're just gonna fight our way back through. Now, the thing about that basement is that, yeah, it is dangerous, but it's also pretty easy to rack up a ton of gold if you have the patience for it. And we're just going to save here so I can demonstrate that for you. And this is why you don't let someone who has played RPGs as long as I have access to somewhat risk-free infinite grinding off of enemies that give decent rewards. I will be taking this, thank you. And you know what? I'll also be taking this. Okay, we haven't even left the first village, and we're pretty good for weapons and armor all the way up until the second half of East 2. And we won't really need to do that much experience grinding for a little while either. So now let's check out what's behind that recently unlocked door. I'm not worried about my MP. Using fire magic uses so little MP that it's not really a problem. Okay, past that loser. And we're just gonna lay down a save here. So next time on East 2, we are going to tackle the Ice Ridge of Noltia, called here the Ice Park. See you then. Goodbye.